Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to another video in the studio. And today I wanted to talk about Black Friday deals. I wanted to talk about whether they're actually worth buying, how to make sure that you're getting the appropriate deals and not actually getting a deal that isn't really a deal at all, and point out a few things that should hopefully help you to make some informed buying decisions, as well as tell you what I'm actually shopping for myself. Now, the biggest thing, if something says 25% off, actually check out what it's 25% off from. So if it's a £1,000 TV, it's down to £750, then that means it's £250 off, right? Brilliant deal. Not necessarily, because you'll often find that the 25% off is 25% off the RRP of the product. And if the product has been around for about a year, so televisions are a very good one here, you might have an RRP when they're first released for around about £2,000, let's say. All the early adopters buy it, and then throughout the year they slowly reduce the price until next year, and then they repeat. So if you're looking at 25% off the RRP, it may well be £10 cheaper than it was a few days ago. So that's probably the most important thing for you to check. The next thing is to actually genuinely check that it is a product you want. I'm not being funny, and this is something that makes me laugh year after year. You see so many pictures of people fighting over shit TVs. Just because a shit TV is £100 off doesn't mean it's worth buying, and that goes for pretty much any product, which is where reviews come in handy. You have around about 15 minutes if you're shopping on Amazon before you actually lose that product once you've added it to your basket. So use that 15 minutes to actually check that this is a product that's worth buying. Now, an example, and one that actually I've been looking at myself, has been a Sony Bravia TV. Now, this TV I can't find reviews of anywhere. It seems like a good deal, but does that mean it actually is? I don't know. And this is where consumer reviews versus professional reviews come in. Because generally speaking, a consumer review doesn't tell you whether a product is any good, it tells you whether people are happy with a product. Whereas professional reviews, assuming it's a respectable reviewer that's done their research and has reviewed other similar products, that actually tells you whether a product is good. But you need to look at both, because a professional review, so one hopefully like myself, tells you whether I liked a mouse. Whereas if you look at customer reviews, they will tell you whether they liked the mouse. And you need to sort of look at the two things, as sometimes my opinion's not actually as valid as the consumer, and vice versa. So it's always important to look at multiple reviews and actually check that you're buying a product that's not just good, but good against competition as well. As you might find that a TV is good, but there's a competitor that's actually selling one that's slightly cheaper that's better. So do your research before actually going ahead and clicking. So then, that's how to be a little bit more savvy when it comes to actually checking out a deal. I would recommend that before you start shopping for Black Friday deals, you at least have an idea for what you're actually looking at. As I'm definitely someone that has bought stuff before that I've not necessarily regretted, but I've thought, well, I didn't really need that. So if there's something you're after in particular, it's probably worth noting it down and then actually looking for deals rather than just searching through the page of Amazon deals for something that takes your eye, because that is definitely the easiest way to lose your money. But there are often some very good deals available on Amazon. I'm going to focus on Amazon today, but if I see any deals that I particularly like on Amazon or from other retailers, I will leave them all in the description down below, and I'll try and update them as regularly as possible. Please note that these will be Amazon affiliate links, so I will get a small amount of money back when you actually purchase these things, which does help out the channel. So, things I'm actually looking for personally is actually a TV. I alluded to earlier that I was looking at this particular Sony Bravia one. I haven't bought it because I don't know whether it's any good, and spending £600 on a TV may well be a good purchase, but I'm not someone that wants to take a risk on that. I'm quite happy to just not buy it and wait and see if any reviews come out before getting what could be a bad deal, even though it looks like a good deal. But things like these SSDs. These are actually great things to look for in Black Friday sales. Every single year they get cheaper and cheaper, and the deals sometimes get better and better. This exact one I actually bought myself 2 years ago in a Black Friday sale. It was a 250GB one, and I think I got it for around about £80, which now would be terrible, but back then it was a really good deal. So I would expect people to be looking at maybe around about the £80 mark for a 500GB SSD, and then probably around about £125 for a 1TB SSD. But of course those will be the lower grade of SSDs. You can get faster ones and they'll be more expensive, but either way, keep an eye out for SSDs. And PC components are actually something that you can find good deals for on Amazon Black Friday deals. Back in Prime Day in the summer, I got some Crucial Ballistics RAM, 8GB of DDR4 for around about £24. Things like that. If you're after something in particular, there's quite a lot of stuff to choose from, generally speaking. And again, generally speaking, as long as you buy from a respectable brand, things like RAM and SSDs, there's not that much variance, or at least not that much variance that I particularly mind with products like this. But again, go and check out the reviews. Elsewhere in the computing department, you can often find very good deals on things like peripherals, so mice, keyboards. I've seen already a very good deal on a Razer Black Widow keyboard that was reduced from about 130 to around about 70. But again, that may well have been a cheaper deal. It's probably that it was £130 at one point. That doesn't necessarily mean it was £130 yesterday. But assuming that it is a good deal, then you can get good deals on things like keyboards and mice. And going back to them once again, if you're in the market for TVs, now is definitely a good time to be looking. But make sure that you're buying a respectable TV, and make sure that if you're looking for things like HDR, you actually go and do a little bit of research before you even start looking at TVs, because if you buy one from a less respectable brand, you might not have things like HDCP 2.2, which will mean you won't be able to watch 4K Blu-ray. And if you're buying an HDR TV, you can find that a lot of them are using 8-bit panels, whereas HDR is really all about using a 10-bit panel, meaning that you get a wider gamut of colour and wider shades and things like that. So if you're buying an 8-bit HDR TV, it can show HDR, it may well look a little bit better, but it's almost like a watered down HDR experience. Granted, if you're not particularly worried about HDR, then you can get some brilliant deals on these cheaper TVs. But I think my main point is just be aware, just do a little bit of research, and really do resist the temptation to buy something because it says 50% off. That doesn't necessarily mean it's 50% off. So there you go, that has been the end of this Black Friday deals video. I hope it's been useful. If it has, hit the like button. If it hasn't, hit the dislike. I do apologise if this is stuff you already knew, but you'd be surprised how many people I know that buy stuff just because it says 35% off without knowing that actually a few days ago it was only retailing for a couple of pounds less. I think officially for it to be 20% off a previous price, it has to be at least 28 days at that price in the UK. And I've heard that Which have said that a few people have broken this last year. So please just be a little bit aware. Make sure you know what you're looking for, and don't buy stuff just because it looks cheap, because that's the easiest way to spend all your money. But let me again reiterate, I'll leave the best deals that I have found down below. These will be Amazon affiliate links, as well as any other links or things like that I can generally find to good deals. As like I say, I'm shopping myself, so hopefully I'll pick up some good stuff for me and some other good presents. A massive thank you once again to you guys for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this, and a massive thank you to Corsair for sponsoring the channel as always. I'll see you in the next video.